Nora, I need to know.
My poker face is that bad, huh?
Please. Why'd you keep this from us?
I think I made a big mistake.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. They did a big CW panel this morning where they talked about Flash, Batman, Batwoman, Arrow, the big crossover episode. So I'm going to break this down top 10 style. There was just so much information that they gave us. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a new round of that Flash Ring giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. Starting with number 10, Caitlyn's mother and father are coming back to the show. We've already met her mother during season 3, and she talked all about her backstory during season 2. But the big deal is that her father is coming back. That was what that big flashback scene was at the end of season 4. Like they were teeing up a moment with her father, a memory. So they're going to continue to develop that storyline of her origin into season 5. It's going to be all about how she got her powers. But number 9, there's this whole untold secret history where her father has been this whole time. He's a scientist, just like Caitlyn and her mother. The way the description of her father reads is that he's been gone for a long time and he just showed up. Like, remember when Oliver Queen was thought dead for 5 years when he was on Lian Yu? It's that situation with her father. Like, he's been gone, nobody knows where he's been, and he just shows up one day. So way back during the Reverse Flash Returns episode during season 2, she revealed that he had died from multiple sclerosis when she was a little girl. So apparently that was a super big lie. No idea why her mother may not have known about this or lied to her about it, because during season 3 we got all those scenes with her where she was starting to express her Killer Frost persona. Her mother seemed like she didn't really know what was going on, but if she's as smart as she came off, then there was probably something going on during her childhood, and her mother was lying to her this whole time, her father was lying to her. So major arcs of season 5, Barry getting to know his daughter and helping her fix her big problem, but for Caitlyn, it's going to be learning all about her origin and the true history of her family. She had her powers as a little girl, so either she was born with them, meaning that her father would be a metahuman, or her mother and father did something to her when they were conceiving her or when she was young that gave her her powers. That's going to be what she'll learn over the course of these 23 episodes. Number 8, this is a big one. They've changed the structure of the show, the way episodes play out. So now what's going to happen is that you'll have little pods of people in different places. So imagine you have all of Team Flash, all the main characters, you split them up during episodes into small little groups. So Iris will be doing reporter Iris stuff off by herself with a couple other people. Barry will be doing Team Flash stuff with Nora like he would usually be doing. Then you have Caitlyn doing Killer Frost stuff and support stuff when needed. So people will float around from group to group, but it'll be a bunch of different people all over the place instead of everybody being in Star Labs in scenes all at the same time every single episode. This is a clip of Candace Patton talking about that. The audio is a little janky, but the information is really good.
Less together all the time, and people are kind of separated into groups working on stuff, which I'm very excited about. I think visually it'll be more interesting for the audience to not have all of us just standing around in Star Labs.
So there are just a number of reasons why it's good that they're changing the way they do stories like this. Episode 1, 2, 3, it'll be pretty evident why stories work a lot better when you do stuff this way. Number 7, a lot of you asking me about Cisco, what's going on with him. There is some evidence that they're feeding him to the villain Woodchipper in the first half of the season, aka Cicada, just to make him feel like a bigger threat. The first half of the season, that is. That doesn't mean that he's leaving the show completely. But there was this post that Iris had in the background here. This is a blog post that almost reads Vibe Dead, and they haven't even gotten close to filming episodes 7 or 8 yet, so this is pretty early in the season. The actor that plays Cisco is still a main character on the show. He hasn't left as far as we know. So what's probably going on is that they're trading on the nostalgia of season 1. Remember, one of the biggest moments from season 1 was when Reverse Flash killed Cisco, then they brought him right back. So what they might be doing is as part of Nora's mistakes storyline, like they said Team Flash would be making a lot of mistakes. One of those leads to the death of Cisco. It makes Cicada feel like a much bigger threat because he's taken down one of the big characters. Then they start fixing mistakes later in the season, and that brings Cisco back. There's a little bit of speculation there just based on the idea that Cisco is still on the TV show, but it seems like they're killing him early on. So if he's dead, but he's still a main character on the show, that just means that he's coming back soon. But number 6, just explaining Nora's mistakes. They confirmed that Nora and Team Flash would continue to make a lot of big WTF mistakes as they start to deal with the Cicada villain. Like Nora says at the beginning of this, I think I made a big mistake. Nora, how could you keep this from us? They find out what Nora's initial mistakes were. There were a couple. It's not any one particular mistake. Then as they encounter Cicada, they continue to make more mistakes. But obviously the whole idea is that they fix things. Typically the finales have pretty happy endings, so eventually they'll fix everything, but not before things get really, really bad for them in the first half of the season. Speaking of which, number 5, there was a little bit of confusion over the 100th episode of this big TCA's panel. Mark Pedowitz, who's one of the head people at CW, was giving out all this information. He said some confusing things, but then backtracked, so just confirmation that episode 9 this year of all the shows is going to be the crossover episode with Batwoman. Episode 8, the 100th episode of The Flash, will be its own special thing. Number 4, speaking of Batwoman, they confirm Batman exists on Earth 1 because of that Oliver Queen name drop. Now, Oliver Queen mentioned Bruce Wayne, so all that did last year was confirm that Bruce Wayne exists, but Mark Pedowitz was like, yes, Batman exists on Earth 1, so we know that he is around somewhere. He lives in Gotham City, but they said that the crossover episode would not feature that character at all. So no Batman, no Bruce Wayne. They only said he wouldn't appear. They didn't say they wouldn't reference him, because you have to make that connection with Batwoman. She's flying around town wearing his symbol on her chest. So just expect them to talk about Batman. Don't expect to see him. 3, the Batwoman TV show that they're developing will film its pilot early next year, but it has not been picked up to series yet. So it would have to be a terrible pilot in order to not be picked up. So it's a pretty easy slam dunk for this team, meaning that they would start filming the regular episodes during the summer. It would premiere during the fall. Number 2, they followed up with talk about shows being canceled from the Arrowverse, because some of them have been on air for a long time now. They said that just because they're doing the Batwoman TV show, they have 6 nights of programming to fill. That's a lot. They used to only do 5, so they need a bunch of extra shows. So they said just because they're doing Batwoman doesn't automatically mean that they're going to cancel Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow or Supergirl or any of the less rated CW DC TV shows. So going into the season, nothing is on the chopping block right now. They haven't confirmed anything. They don't make renewals till around February, March, April of next year. So it'll be at least another 8 or 9 months before we find out about the future of what's going on with this universe. So I wouldn't worry about any of the shows getting canceled anytime soon. In number 1, this is actually a pretty big deal. While I was making this video, Warner Brothers announced that it's developing a Supergirl movie. Now, this is set within the DC universe, meaning that it would involve Henry Cavill's Man of Steel character, so they haven't said anything about what the story would be, how they would invoke her, because Zack Snyder did actually write a version of Supergirl into a prequel tie-in story for the Man of Steel movie, but that was so long ago, and it wasn't really a part of the actual movie. It was part of this tie-in comic book, so it's always kind of questionable about how that stuff's canon or not canon. I would just expect a soft reboot to the way that universe has treated the Supergirl character, and when they do this movie, they'll just find a way to explain how she shows up while Clark Kent has been running around on planet Earth this whole time. They just hired a writer to develop it, so bare minimum, it'll be 2 to 3 years before this movie ever hits theaters if everything goes well, meaning that Supergirl, the TV show, might almost be off the air. So I don't think there's going to be any sort of crossover issues, and I don't expect Melissa to be a part of the movie. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about all this? Now, this was a CW panel, so they didn't say anything about Titans or Young Justice Season 3 or any of the other DC shows that are going to be on the streaming service. So there'll be more videos for that stuff coming up pretty soon, but just leave all your requests in the comments below. But what'll happen is I'll name a new giveaway winner when I post new DC. Click here for that Flash 100th episode video, and click here for brand new Avengers 4. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.